I just needed to get away and think, get away from my family, get away from the country and think things through. So I emigrated to Australia, but things weren't much better there insofar as I didn't have enough money, and B, I didn't have enough by way of qualifications, because in those days Australia was so desperate to get people, they completely misled you at Australia House. They suggested that if once you got there, provided you didn't care what sort of work you did, they'd find you a job, find you accommodation, and then you were on your own. Well, that only happened if you were a family and had children. If you were on your own, you were on your own, you didn't get any help. So I drifted around for a bit, but it did clear my head, and I decided to go home, because I couldn't, much as I loved Australia, I didn't see any future there. So getting home was going to be a problem because I didn't have any money. But in the meantime, I'd lost my passport. I hitched from Melbourne to Sydney, and on the way we went through the Blue Mountains, and the driver was going one way, I was going another, so he dropped me off in the middle of the night in the mountains. And anyway, I ended up in this little town called Yangaratta, and I got arrested because I didn't have any ID. And they didn't throw me in jail as such. It was like a jail at one of these old B-picture movies. They put me in a cell with this other guy, but they didn't lock the door or anything. The other guy was stoned out of his mind. And I was really, really fed up. And he said, well, if you're that fed up, go back home. And I said, well, I haven't got any money. And I hadn't been there 2 years. And he told me about a little known clause in the Immigration Act whereby that if you can't get a proper job or anything, you go to the immigration people, and they are obliged by law to help you. So he said, carry on, when you get to Sydney, go to the immigration offices in Chifley Square, don't wash or brush up, go looking like someone they really don't want to keep, which is what I did. And anyway, they put me in a hostel for a few weeks, and then they paid for my fare home.